Hi everyone, welcome along to today's training session. My name is Roshni and I'm part of the customer team here at SuiteFiles. So today's training session is going to cover SuiteFiles integration with Xero Practice Manager or XPM. An important part of the integration is our Chrome extension, and this provides most of the functionality that we'll be looking at today. So just before we get started, a little bit of housekeeping. If you have any questions, please make use of the Q&A section, which you'll be able to see in the Zoom webinar tool. We'll be keeping an eye on that between now and the end of the session. I'm also recording and we'll be uploading all of this week's training videos on our YouTube channel, which is called SuiteFiles. And if you don't know about them already, there are a couple of other ways that we can help you with any training that you might need. So the first option is to head over to our Help Center. If you're in SuiteFiles, you can click on your username in the top right corner and click on Help Center. And this is going to take you to suitehelp.suitefiles.com. So type in your search term or scroll through the list of options here. So today, we'll be taking a look at the Xero integration. So the Xero Practice Manager section might be a really good place to start. If you can't find what you're looking for in the Help Center, then you can always contact us by clicking on this link. Otherwise, you can email us directly at support, helps if I spell it correctly, at suitefiles.com, so you can reach us there at any time. Okay, so first of all, we need to install the Chrome extension. And because the Chrome extension offers all of the functionality that we'll be covering in today's session, it's really important that you have this installed. It does mean that you will be need to use the Google Chrome browser for starters. So in Chrome, log into your SuiteFiles site and then click on your username and jump into Download Apps. So then click on Download below the Chrome extension section, and that's going to take us to the Chrome web store here. So we can then click on Add to Chrome and then click Add Extension. So once you have done that, you should see this pop up in the top right corner. You should see your SuiteFiles icon in the browser here, and then you can click on the icon and sign in to SuiteFiles. So the site URL is going to be your SuiteFiles site, and the best way to get this URL without having to type it out from scratch and avoid any sort of errors is to jump into SuiteFiles and then just copy your site URL up until the .com or whatever your main site address is, then copy that. And then from here, you don't need to navigate back to the other tab. You can just click this icon again and paste in your site URL, and then you want to enter in your Office 365 username and your Office 365 password, which I'll do now. And if you have two-factor authorization or a single sign-on application, then you'll click on this advanced login link and follow those prompts. But I don't have two-factor auth on my site, so I'm just going to quickly scan over and make sure that I've entered my email address incorrectly, and then I'm going to click login. So as it's authenticating, just leave this open. Shouldn't take too long. Don't click out of it because it'll just interrupt the login process. But you can see that it's pretty quick and it shows me that I'm logged in, which email address I'm logged in as, and we can also see the site that I'm logged into. So you can now just click out of that, so long as you can see the Chrome icon, the SuiteFiles icon rather, in your Chrome browser in the top right corner, then you should be all logged in and ready to use the functionality. So let's take a look at the functionality that's offered by the Chrome extension in Xero Practice Manager. So what I'm going to do is create a new client in Xero Practice Manager, one that doesn't exist already in my SuiteFiles site. So I'm going to create a new client here. And I'm going to call it CLA Accounting. And you'll no doubt fill in a few more details than I'm going to do, but in terms of the prompts that you see in XPM, now that you've got the SuiteFiles Chrome extension installed, is once you save after creating a new client, you're going to see this pop-up appear, and it's asking if you'd like to save a CLA Accounting client folder in SuiteFiles. So that's exactly what I want to do. You can also at this point, if you've got folder templates set up, so folder templates are something that you set up in your SuiteFiles site, that's covered off in our standard user training. So if you haven't already attended standard user training and you're keen to check it out, then I encourage you to watch a copy of one of our sessions that we've uploaded to our YouTube channel. Otherwise, jump onto our help center and you'll be able to find out how to create folder templates. So if I am creating a new client, then I might want to use my new client company folders and then click create. So I've got a pop-up on my other screen that just tells me that my new client has been created. It just pops up in the bottom right corner of your screen. And then if we jump back into SuiteFiles, and those new client folders are going to be stored within clients, and we can scroll down and we can see, just scroll past it, the CLA Accounting folder has now been created, and I've got all of my subfolders care of that folder template. They've been created for me as well, so that's ready to go. Back in XPM, you'll also be able to see the link to the folder, so you can access that directly from within XPM. So that just takes you to, opens up a new tab, and that will take you directly into the CLA Accounting folder. So that's the sort of the core functionality when you're creating new clients. But if you do need to, say, rename a folder, so click on Edit. And if you need to, say, change this client name, click on Save. And that renaming is going to, of course, update the name in XPM, but it's going to ask you if you'd like to also rename the folder in SuiteFiles from CLA Accounting to CLA Accountants Limited. So I'll click on Yes for that. And if we jump back in to our clients folder, I'm just going to filter this time for CLA. You can see now that it's called CLA Accountants Limited. So the Xero integration through the Chrome extension has taken care of that and tidied that up for me. And you can see here that the link has also been changed. And finally, you can archive in XPM. And that's going to, again, pop up, and it's going to say would you like to archive this folder in SuiteFiles? So you can click on yes. And just one thing to note is that now, depending on how you have got your settings, your file preferences in SuiteFiles, it will depend on whether or not you can then see the folder anymore. So if we just jump back into clients, type in CLA, hit enter, you can see that we can no longer see that folder. That's because I have in my user profile settings under file preferences, I've got my SuiteFiles set to not show archived content. I can switch this on if I need to. It shows me all of my archived files. And now I can see my archived client in SuiteFiles. So that just comes down to your setting as to whether or not you'll still be able to see your clients that you've archived in XPM if you've done that setting. So back in XPM, we'll just restore that to get everything back to normal. And if you are using groups in XPM, you'll need to enable this in your Chrome settings. So if you're using groups, then right-click on the Chrome extension icon, then select Options, and then scroll down to this beta testing features section, which is called Client Grouping Prompts XPM. You just want to switch that across, toggle that on. Once it's blue, you know that it's on, and then you can close that window. Maybe just refresh your XPM site. And from here, let's say if we wanted to add CLA Accountants Limited to a group. So for example, let's add them to the Home Trust group. You're going to see this prompt that's going to ask you if you would like to move your client into the group folder. So the folder structure is now going to be the clients folder, followed by the group folder name, and then followed by the original client name. So this is the folder structure if you are using groups in XPM. So if you're wanting to do that, then just click on yes. If you don't have the Home Trust group folder, your group folder already set up in SuiteFiles, then this process is going to do that for you. It will set up the group folder for you and then move the CLA Accountants Limited folder into that subfolder. So back in clients, if we just refresh that, jump back into clients, if we're searching for CLA now, we won't be able to find CLA Accountants Limited in this folder structure. We instead will find it within the home group. So if we jump down to Home Trust Group, and we can see now that CLA Accountants and all its subfolders have been refiled within the Home Trust Group folder. If you remove that group, you're going to get a similar prompt, which simply moves that back out of the Home Trust Group folder and back into the normal clients and client name structure. So that's it for client linking. There are a few FAQs that I'll cover off now before we move on to the next part of the webinar. So if you have a client name in Xero Practice Manager that includes an ampersand, so the and symbol, just note that the ampersand is actually a restricted character in Office 365 and therefore SuiteFiles inherits that behavior. So if you were to create a new client in XPM and it includes an ampersand in its name, we'll replace it with the word and in SuiteFiles. So if we take a look at one of our existing clients in XPM, we have a Jack and Jill set up. And you'll see that instead of Jack and Jill with an ampersand as the client name, you can see that we've replaced the ampersand with the word and that just allows it to be set up in SuiteFiles correctly, but we just make that substitution so that we can actually link those two entities together between SuiteFiles and XPM. So just make a note of that. If you can't find one of your clients in SuiteFiles, sorry, in XPM, if you've created it but you can't see the link to the folder into SuiteFiles, then just double check that it's named exactly the same, or if you've got an ampersand in there, just make sure that the existing folder in SuiteFiles is replaced with an and then they should find each other. Okay, so now what we're going to do is take a look at quote and job creation and how the Chrome extension prompts you to create a folder for it in SuiteFiles. So back in XPM, and we'll jump back into our CLA accountants. And from here, we'll create a new job. So just note that if you're creating either a new job or a new quote, the functionality is the same for each. So we'll go through the process for creating a job. Just note that if you were to create a quote, it would behave in exactly the same way. So let's give this job a name. And again, I'm sure you'll fill out a whole lot more details than I will for this demo. But once you've finished completing all of your fields, then click on Save. So once I've clicked that Save button, we're going to see a prompt from the Chrome extension again, and this time it's asking us if we want to create a new folder within our client's Jobs folder called Suite Job, including the job ID. So in terms of how this all sets itself up, if you've got the existing CLA Accountants Limited folder in SuiteFiles already, if you don't already have a subfolder called Jobs, this process will create that Jobs subfolder for you. And then within the Jobs folder, it's going to create a folder with this title. So you can also use a folder template if you have something specific for jobs. You can use a folder template here. I won't, but I'll just click create on this occasion. So then here you can see you've now got a link which we can click and take ourselves into our SuiteFiles site, and you can see that it's created a jobs subfolder and a Suite Job folder here, ready for me to add my files to. So as I said, it works exactly the same way as when creating quotes, so just follow the same process that I've shown you here and you'll be able to see your quotes created in exactly the same way. So let me know if you've got any questions on anything that I've shown you so far. Otherwise, we will take a look next at how you can export and print things. Okay, so when you're, say, in work papers, so we'll just close out of all of these tabs and jump into Zero work papers. So you have a set of work papers, you can print them or export them from work papers into SuiteFiles. So we'll take a look at the two ways that you can do that. Let's just jump into 99 Corporation here. And once you're in your work paper pack, you can click on the Export Work Papers button, and you can see here that we've got two options with the SuiteFiles logo next to them, and that's to either export one PDF to SuiteFiles, so this will export everything into one PDF. Otherwise, you can also export your individual work papers as a zip file into SuiteFiles. So let's just look at the exporting the PDF option. So if we click on that, then you're going to see this location chooser. So once you've clicked through, so you can click on your clients folder, take a look at 99 Corporation. If you need to sort of drill down a little further, then you do have the filter at the top. So if you just type in, say, 99, you'll see that any client containing the term 99 will appear in the list. So it's a quick way to filter what you're looking for. Let's jump into the 2018 folder and we'll select that. So once we've done that, it's just going to do its thing in the bottom corner. And if we jump back into our SuiteFiles site, jump into clients, and then it was in the 99 Corporation 2018 folder, we can see here that my work papers have just been exported. So that's just one PDF file. If you wanted to export it as a zip, click on this option, again navigate to the folder that you want to store the zip in, select folder, again wait till it's done its thing, and if we just jump back out of that and jump into it, you can see here that the zip file has been exported and saved into the clients folder. So next we'll take a look at how you can export reports. It works in a similar way, but if we go back into Practice Manager and jump into reports, let's just generate a job report. So print that report, and because you've got the Chrome extension installed, you'll now see this Export PDF to SuiteFiles option. So click on that, and again the location chooser pops up. Navigate through, select folder, and then back in SuiteFiles, you'll see that job report has been exported and saved as a PDF into the folder that you chose. So there are going to be places where you won't necessarily have the option to export the PDF to SuiteFiles using one of those buttons. So for example, tax returns, some Blue Zero reports won't have that button, but we do actually have another way to export these into SuiteFiles, which you can use for basically anything that you can print. So if we use this as an example, if we click on the print icon, the Chrome extension that we installed provides a pretty cool function where you can select SuiteFiles as a printer. So if we go into the destination, you can see here that we have a print destination of Suite Print available. So if we click that and then select print, then it's going to bring up this location chooser again. This time you will need to provide the file with a name. So it runs in the same similar way, but you'll just need to give your file a name. So click on Save File, and again back in SuiteFiles under the 2018 folder, you can see the job report using SuitePrint has been printed using SuitePrint and is now saved as a PDF file in your SuiteFiles site. So that's a really useful function if you have the Chrome extension installed. There are of course other ways that you can save PDFs that from other locations. You could use our SuiteDrive app, you could use the Save As option, or simply download the file in the browser and then drag and drop that into your site. So this is just another way to get files into SuiteFiles nice and easily. And so that does bring us to the end of today's training session. If you have any questions, then please feel free to ask them through the Q&A section now. Otherwise, you're welcome to get in touch with our support team at support@suitefiles.com if you do have any questions. And don't forget that we have that Help Centre. It's got a number of articles around what we've covered today, so you can either check that out, or I will be uploading all of this week's training videos onto our SuiteFiles YouTube channel, which is just called SuiteFiles. So thanks so much for attending. I hope you learned a little something from today's session and hope that you enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Thanks.